This is going to be the first part of my longer web series that I wanted to work on. I just felt like I wasn't getting out the entire message of what I wanted to say on all the topics that I spoke about. So, um, yeah, I decided that today's topic's going to be about getting back to your roots and almost going back to basics. Those of you who do know me or who know of my journey know that I had a business that I closed recently, where I used to promote local designers by selling their wares through my store. And I just decided that, um, you know, you have to, you sometimes have to give up on your dream. There's a saying, an old saying that my mum always used to say, which was murder your darlings. And it doesn't mean that I've given up entirely on my dream, but it does mean that if your dream is affecting your health or your state of mind or your lifestyle, then it's something that you need to reassess and put on hold at the very least. So yeah, I've been on this journey now to go back to my roots and back to basics, and it's involved a lot of hard work where I've had to start meditating. I've done a lot of research on manifestation, and I've been following a lot of manifesting coaches like Sarah Prout, and I look at if I get like any sort of ailments, I look at Louise Hay for the metaphysical aspects of ailments and how they manifest, and just generally try and live as pure a life as I can. I gave up sugar, gave up junk food. I don't really eat like a lot of fast food, and I'm just very mindful of how I live my life. So going back to basics was quite important, from looking at things inside and out, within oneself, and also going back to your roots, like something I started doing last year when I started to realize that my journey was taking me down. My journey with Sam was taking me down a not so positive path. I decided to reach out to people who I had a past with, like a lot of my old friends that I didn't maybe keep in touch with as much as I'd like to. People who would know you when you were younger and possibly in your purest sense. I know we all grow up and we change, and we can become better people as we grow older, but at the same time, I remember fondly certain friends who reminded me always who I really was. They were always a good influence in my life, and I just decided that I needed to reach out to them. So yeah, I reached out to those who knew me best, those who've known me for most of my life, and some of them almost all my life. Um, Deeper connections with family, and deeper connections with yourself, through these people. I felt that finding who I am, and I'm still not really all there yet with finding who I am. I don't think we ever really are 100% there, but finding who I am was quite important in order for me to lay the right foundation if I wanted to avoid making the same mistakes that I'd made in the past. Um, I tend to throw myself entirely into something and commit with complete passion and gusto to a cause, and if the cause doesn't go so well, then I tend to sacrifice myself at that cause, whether it's going to end or not. And it's definitely a trait that my father used to do. So, it's about going back to your basics and starting to recognize your patterns that you've adopted from family, looking at you know how you can correct those patterns, and what parts of those are actually you, and what parts of yourself is not who you really are. It's part of your conditioning, your social conditioning that you've adopted from your upbringing, or the social expectations or the lifestyles that we lead and the people we currently surround ourselves with. Keeping up with the Joneses, trying to fit in with reality TV, whatever it is, like we are conditioned and pressurized, even at a subconscious level, to become something that we're not necessarily. So yeah, it was about facing that, and having to challenge yourself, and face yourself in ways that are not comfortable. Getting in touch with yourself and going back to your roots can take you down a path where you might start to recognize sides of yourself that you don't like, but it doesn't mean that they're permanent, and it doesn't mean you can't correct them and you can't change them. So yeah, going back to basics, going back to your roots is something that we all should do, and we should do it once in a while. We meet people, either friends, or we start to date people, or we get married, or we have kids, and we start to lose a sense of ourselves because we get wrapped up so entirely in the lives of those who we surround ourselves with, and we all are either, we're not just one thing, but we tend to take on personas of, we're only a mother, or we're only a staff member, or we're only a boss, or we're only a designer, or whatever it is. We're just that one thing, and we're not. We're so much more than that, and we're multifaceted and multi-tiered, and we have depths and layers to our souls and to our heart, and it's very important that in order to live a fulfilled life, that you are in touch with that you are this multi-layered, beautiful being, who is not just one-dimensional. Because as human beings, you're essentially creators, and you actually can't see yourself as one-dimensional. You can't impose limitations on yourself. So knowing yourself first and foremost, and I found the easiest way for that is getting back to your roots. Yeah, if you've got access to people from your past, if you're still friends with people from school that you remember fondly, bring them closer to you, and reach out to them. Sometimes it's important to remind ourselves of what we've lost and who we've lost within ourselves, in order for us to find who we really want to be.